Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Mackenzie, and I am the Community and Provider Education Coordinator here at NAMI, Maryland. I will be the moderator for our webinar today. Today, we are hosting a special guest, Shirmel Wiggs, who will draw on her professional experiences to help us learn how to create a financial contingency plan when faced with a financial pivot, particularly in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. I'd like to welcome our speaker for today's webinar, Shirmel Wiggs. After 16 years of experience within a financial services firm, Shirmel currently operates as the owner and operator of the Purpose Generation, as a licensed financial coach and investment broker. Becoming a coach has allowed Shirmel the opportunity to help families accomplish their personal financial goals and dreams through proper financial education, strategic coaching, and implementation. Shirmel wholeheartedly believes that if we learn how money works, how to properly protect our assets, and apply simple fundamentals to wealth building practices, we would be unstoppable as a nation. Thank you, Shirmel, for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I am humbled by the opportunity to be able to present to you and your organization. I'm so thankful for being asked to be a part of this. This is an amazing opportunity for me, and I hope and pray that this is an amazing opportunity for the individuals that hear this, presentation. So, I am just so in awe of the opportunity. So I want to be able to just pretty much just jump right in and share with you all of some of the wonderful financial concepts and education that can potentially change where you are financially. And that's why we actually named this webinar Strategic Financial Shift. Okay, you can actually use this shift to be able to improve what you're already doing. You can use this financial shift to be able to get you out of your current financial, uncomfortability. And so no matter where you are in your finances, there will be something that you'll be able to take away from this to be able to learn how to be able to take your finances and make a shift that can pretty much change your family's financial future. All right, let's get started. Now, the one thing that we want to be able to understand that in finances, we have found out that there are financial challenges that most people will actually have, right? And so I just have listed here some of the top 3 financial challenges that most people are dealing with right now. Almost more than half of American workers say that they have less than $25,000 in savings and retirement, and less than $1,000 accumulated for an emergency purposes. And that is major because, as we know in life, we will have emergencies, and you want to be able to make sure that you are growing every single day to be able to have enough money saved and accumulated. So if you have an emergency, you have money to be able to pull from instead of having to use credit cards and, borrowing money from different places. And you also are saving enough money to be able to retire. The second challenge that almost half of Americans are dealing with is that they have no idea on how to properly calculate how much money they will need for retirement. When you think about it, most of us, when we set up our 401ks or 403bs or TSPs with our employer, we just take a percentage of our retirement. A percentage of our income to put towards our retirement. And theoretically, we don't know if the amount that we are putting in that retirement account will suffice, will be enough for us to be able to live through retirement and be able to enjoy retirement. So you want to be able to make sure that you know how much you need to be putting aside every single month to help properly prepare you for retirement. And the third and the final challenge that I wanted to share with you is that only about 20% of Americans feel confident or comfortable that they will even have enough money to be able to live through retirement. I think some of us, we don't really understand, you know, we're in the hustle and the bustle every day with our lives and work and kids and family, and we're putting money away, we're saving. But when it comes down to retirement, that's an area that most of us, we hope that we get there, but once we get there, we've never experienced it before. So you want to be able to make sure that you understand, how much money will I need to not only be able to save for retirement, but how long will that money last me? And those are the questions and the concerns that people are having right now when it comes down to their finances. So I have one question that I want to be able to ask you is, there we go, is how do you feel about your current financial situation? Are you feel confident? Are you overly confident? Are you like, where do you fit? Where do you, see yourself? Do you feel as though that you need help? Are you comfortable with the plan that you already have? So let's talk about that, okay? The first thing that you want to be able to look at when it comes down to your financial plan is, how much debt do I have, right? We, in the financial world, we talk about debt. There's good debt and then there's bad debt, okay? So let's talk about bad debt for a little bit, because we understand that with bad debt, right, that can cause us a lot of issues when it comes down to it, ultimately prohibiting us from being able to get our financial goals accomplished. So I have an example here. It says that if you actually go out and you purchase an item for $3,000, right? It could be a dining room furniture, living room, it could be a bedroom, it could be anything. It doesn't really matter, right? It could be getting your car fixed and you have to put it on your credit card, right? If that credit card is charging you 18% interest rate and you make no more purchases on that credit card, if you are making the minimum payments that they require for you to be able to maintain that monthly payments, it would take you 10 years to pay off that $3,000 debt. Okay. Now people may not even really think about it, right? But when you think about it, if you purchase something for $3,000 and for you to make monthly payments and it take you 10 years, that means you would have paid an additional $2,000 for that item. Now, I know you and I would probably never pay $5,000 for a dining room set or a living room set, right? Right? But theoretically, when you are putting debt on a credit card and they are charging you high interest rates, right? Long term, you will wind up paying one, two, or maybe even three times more for that product that you purchased that may not even be worth two or three times more for, in 10 years from now. Okay. Because we know that things depreciate. All right. So you want to be careful when you are getting into debt, that you're very strategic. That's why this is called a strategic financial shift. Okay. You want to be strategic in your planning and understand that. I understand that I have to get into some debt, but I don't want to be exposed to it for a long period of time. Right. So then that brings us to the next thing that you want to be in the know of, is understanding the difference between revolving debt and fixed debt. Okay, with revolving debt, that is what we call is like your credit cards, right? Where there's no particular end date in sight, right? You pay as you go. Sometimes you pay it off, sometimes you don't, and there's always a lingering balance that's there. And when you see this revolving debt, you can have the same amount charged on a revolving debt and the same amount of charge on a fixed debt. And as you see on this diagram, you will ultimately have two separate results. Okay, so let's dive into this. In a revolving debt, if you purchase $17,000 of whatever that item is, right? And they are charging you 18% interest rate. So that will give you an approximate payment of $595 a month. If you have revolving debt, even paying a little bit extra or the minimum payment on it, it would literally take you 17 years and 2 months to pay that off. That's an additional $12,500 in interest that's paid on this debt. Okay, we probably love the item that we purchased, right? It could be a car, it could be anything, right? But if it's going to cost you an additional $12,000, we might want to be able to reconsider that, right? Versus if you finance something on a fixed debt basis. And when we talk about fixed debt, we're talking about like a car loan, a mortgage, right? Something that has a set number of years for you to be exposed to that debt. Okay. People don't realize with debt is I don't want to say bad, but it's something that we want to be always cognizant of, because the longer you are exposed to debt, the more you're going to pay for that particular debt. So in this case, that same 17,000, same 18% interest rate, and even the same monthly payment of $595 a month, with this debt only having a 3 year and 2 months, right, time period, they would have only paid an extra $5,307 in interest. Now, I know if I was you, right, I'm gonna just tell you me, I would rather pay $5,300 versus $12,500 for the same item that I actually purchased, or for the same debt, right? No one wants to pay more, but when you don't know how the system works, then you could probably potentially put yourself in a bad situation when it comes down to long-term getting your finances in order, all right? And when we talk about getting our finances in order, one of the first things that I employ to you is to be able to create your own personalized budget. Most people say to me, "Oh, Shirmel, budget is such a negative thing. It's such a negative thing because now I'm on a budget and I can't spend how I want and I work hard." Right? It's really all about perception. Okay. Being on a budget is a great thing, because when you are on a budget, that means you are in control of your money. Okay. Being on a budget, it actually, you tell your money what to do, where to go, how much of it do you go over there, how much of it do you go over here, right? So you have to understand what is your thought process about your finances and about the word budget. Budget is a great thing to adopt within your family's finances, because you know what is going to go where and you have total control. And don't forget, right, when you are creating your budget, to put yourself in that budget, right? You can have money budgeted for vacation, money budgeting for shopping and having shopping sprees, money budgeted for the children, for the spouse, for birthdays and anniversaries. You want to have a budget for all of those things, because, right, all of those things happen in life. But the problem where we come into play, where we have the issue, is when we don't have those things budgeted, guess what we have to go do? Get into debt, right? And then we kind of knock things all over the place, or get in a disarray when it comes down to our finances, because we didn't properly budget for that thing. Okay. And when we talk about, budgeting, I said to you, you want to put you in there. The one thing that I educate my clients on is when we get our paycheck, and as soon as we get our paycheck, we got to pay this person, right? Up, down, left, right, everywhere. But the last people who get paid is us. And that shouldn't be, because you worked hard for that money, right? You want to be able to make sure that you reward yourself, and you want to put yourself into that budget. And how do you actually do that? Is you want to be able to start saving for you, for your future. And it could be any and everything. It could be saving for retirement. Again, it could be saving for a nice fancy car, a nice beautiful home. It could be whatever your heart desires. The thing is, you want to be able to pay yourself first and put yourself first. Okay. The beautiful thing about paying ourselves first is that the earlier that we start, the better results that we will have in the end. Okay. When you start early, you can actually put small amounts of money away every month and be able to get huge results at the end. Let me show you an example. Here we have, at the age of 25, a person put $200 a month away. That's only $100 per pay. Right? So we're not talking about an astronomical amount of money. If that person just averaged 9% rate of return over a 40-year period, which is about the number of years that we would actually work, that person would have, right, over $940,000 to be able to retire with. Now that's a nice retirement. Okay, to be able to have that money to replace your income, right? Now that you are retired, you can now be able to take that 900,000 and retire and live the rest of your life. You would be living an amazing dream. However, some of us, we may not be able to be in position to start that early, right? So then the next year, right, just 1 year later, still doing the same $200 a month, you now position yourself where you can still have a nice amount of money saved with the 860,000, but you kind of like, you know, lost out on about $83,000 because we just took a year off. Now we understand that financially everybody's in a different place. Some people can start early, some people can't start as early as others, and that is okay. Okay. The important thing that you want to do is start, right? Okay. Even if you have to wait, if we move down and go into your 40s, right? Into your 40s, and you're still being able to put $200 a month away at 9%, you won't have a full 40 years now, you'll have about 25 years. But to be able to add an additional $225,000 to your retirement or to your overall lifestyle, that can be a game changer, okay, for you and your family overall, because you'll be able to have access to that money when you actually need it. So if you are past that 20 years and you're in your 30s or 40s or even in your 50s, the most important thing that I want you to be able to do is to be able to get started, okay? And how you get started, as we already talked about it, is creating a debt elimination plan. You want to get rid of all those debts, good debts, bad debts, in between debts. You want to be able to get rid of them as quickly as you can, because once you can get rid of all of those debts, even though that they were good for while you needed them, but once you get rid of those debts, you can now take that money and start investing it for yourself and for your family's future. All right. I have an example here of a client at the age of 35, had about 5 or 6 different debts or creditors that they owed. And it shows you here on Plan A how they were able to have a list of all of their monthly payments that they were making on all of their bills. And then, right, based on the Plan A, if they were to just pay their bills on time, never late, maybe send a couple of extra dollars here and there, they would actually get themselves completely out of debt in 23 years. So at the age of 58, right, they would have now been completely out of debt if they stayed with their Plan A option. Okay. Versus, now that's not necessarily the worst case, right? Because for us to be able to be out of debt at the age of 58, that means we haven't even, gotten to retirement yet, right? I know some people say, oh, I'm gonna die in debt, right? No, no, no. The whole point is you want to be able to have a plan. So that's Plan A. Plan B says if you actually just did what we call is a shift, right? If you actually shift and put a plan in place that once you paid off the first credit card, the payment that you were making on that first credit card, you then take that and add it to the second credit card, right? Then once you then pay off that second credit card, then you take that payment, right? So from the first and the second payment, and then send it to the third payment, and so on and so on. So if you see this diagram, it shows you that if you take the purple and you turn it into the blue, right? Take the purple, turn into the blue, take the purple and turn it into the blue, take the purple and turn it into the blue, right? It will allow, it's like a snowball, right? You pay off one debt, you take that money, you put it on the second debt. You take that money, you put it on the third. Once that's paid off, you take that and then you just continue it. With that debt stacking or debt snowballing theory, right? And plan. In this particular case, this person would have been able to get all of their debts paid off in 9 years. How amazing is that? Just think about it. 9 years from now, you can actually have a plan that you can completely be out of debt, right? How awesome, awesome, awesome would that actually be, right? You would have so much freedom, so much peace, okay? This person at the age of 44 have completely paid off all their debts. In this particular case, this person actually was able to pay off a mortgage Who is actually able to pay off a mortgage in 9 years? That is how powerful this debt elimination program actually works. And then we then share with you that you could be able to take those monthly payments and then start investing that money, right? Because you were paying all those people, but now all of those people are now paid off. How about I now take that money and pay me, right? We talked about paying yourself. This is how you could be able to play catch up as well, right? For all the years that you were not on track for getting to your financial goals. This will allow you to be able to do that. Okay. Now, the reason why all of this is so important is because of the fact that if we do not have a plan, we will fail when it comes down to our overall financial goals and dreams. You have to have a financial plan, because a financial plan is it's a financial GPS, right? The financial GPS tells you exactly step by step by step by step what you need to be able to do to be able to acquire your goals and dreams. And all of that is done through a financial needs analysis. So I implore you to be able to seek out a financial advisor or financial coach that will be able to help you put a financial plan in place for you by utilizing a financial needs analysis. Okay. And then within that, right, you also want to be able to know, what is my financial independence number, right? What does that actually look like? I don't know. All right. I don't know what that actually looks like. How much money do I really need to be able to survive, not even just survive, but live comfortably in retirement? This actually example says that this person wanted to be able to retire in 30 years, right? And they were earning an income of $30,000 a year. So for 30 years, just in also taking into consideration inflation, right? This person would have to be able to save $585 a month for 30 years, an average 9% rate of return, to get to the financial independence number of $1,080,000. And that $1,080,000 would allow this person to replace their income in retirement. Okay. Why is this important? Well, as we get older, right, the cost of living goes up, right? Some of us may have some health challenges, right? So you want to be able to make sure that when you retire, that you will be able to keep the same lifestyle that you were giving yourself when you were working full time, or if not even better, right? And with you doing the debt elimination plan, right, and still having money coming in with your investments and with your savings, you'll now be able to live even a better life, because you now have no baggage, you have no debts that's holding you back from really being able to live a fulfilled life when it comes down to your finances. Okay. Now, is not a overnight thing, right? Where you are today, it didn't just happen just yesterday, or even last week, or last month, or last year, right? It was a process. The same thing with creating a shift. It's a process. So first, I want you to breathe, I want you to relax, and I want you to make a decision. Am I ready to make a financial shift for me and my family? If so, I would recommend you to be able to contact a financial professional. Then the next thing that you want to do is you want to be able to make sure that you put a plan in place that can help you preserve, protect, and accelerate your finances. Okay, that is so important. All right, within your financial plan, because right, we have to understand how the money system works, because if we don't understand how the money system works, we won't be able to protect what we have already accumulated, we won't be able to preserve it, and then we won't be able to accelerate it. All right. So you want to be in a position where you understand how the system, how money works. And how money works is that when most of us get paid, right, we take our money and we put it right into the bank, to the financial institution. Now, don't get me wrong, right? You need a bank to be able to pay bills and, and get direct deposit from your employer to take care of what you need to take care of, right? But the problem that most of us don't understand when it comes down to the financial system is that once we put our money in the financial institutions, they then take our money and they then invest it. right? They invest it into the global economy. They lend it out to other people through loans and credit cards and things like that, right? But the part that we are missing out on is that we are missing out on the growth. Okay, the average bank or credit union is giving us very, very low rates of return right now on savings accounts and CDs, right? So if you're thinking about, I need to be able to learn how to be able to protect, okay, yes, the banks will help you preserve and protect your money, right? Because they're FDIC protected. But how will they help me accelerate? And that is the key for you to be able to grow and accelerate and expand your finances, that you want to be able to accelerate your investments, accelerate your savings. And the only way that you can do that is by investing directly into the global economy. Because investing directly into the global economy, it gives you a lot more accessibility when it comes down to earning higher rates of return on your own money, versus someone else doing it, i.e. the banks. Okay. You want to be able to position yourself that as you need more money, right, you will be able to have access to it because of the fact that you've been properly investing and saving your money from the beginning. Okay. The first way that you want to be able to do it is you want to sit down and have a piece of paper, right? Or if you are a tech person, right, get on the computer and start type. What type of accounts do you want to be able to look for? Well, we have three basic accounts that you want to be able to get started. The first one, we're going to start to our left, is your emergency fund, right? Your emergency fund allows you to be able to set up an established savings account just for emergencies. Those emergencies will come, right? We know that in life, we all have emergencies, right? You got to go to the doctor, emergency room, get into a car accident. The kids have to get braces that wasn't planned, right? The roof, something goes wrong with the house, so you have a deductible. Those things are emergencies. Your tire blows out that you didn't have planned for that to happen. Those are all emergencies, right? So I always tell my clients, it's not if you'll have an emergency, it's when you'll have an emergency. So the emergency fund allows you to have certain amount of money set aside. So again, when that emergency comes, you'll be prepared and you know that the money is there. And it's kind of funny how sometimes when you have money set aside for an emergency, they actually don't come as frequently as they would when you don't have it, right? Okay. The second account that you want to be able to look at is short-term savings. What does that mean? If I have a loss of income or if I get sick, right, I want to be able to have at least 3 to 6 months of my income saved in this account. So if I have a life change, right, if I have a baby and I'm out on maternity leave and then I have to extend it, right? And my job only gives me X amount of percentage of my income and not full amount. So all of those things you want to be able to look at, right? And having a short-term savings account allows you to be able to know, okay, I'm covered, I'm safe. So if anything happens, if my job downsizes because of the pandemic, right? If my company closes because of, loss of profits or things like that. I always have this short-term savings account to protect me and my family so we could be able to still maintain and pay the bills that we need to pay. And then the last type of savings account that you want to be able to look at is a long-term savings and investments. Okay, this is where you could be able to use to accelerate you. Okay, and I say that like seriously because, right, you just don't want to be able to live your life, go to work, and pay bills. Like that is not a life to live. And take a vacation here or there, right? You want to be able to enjoy this life. You only get one life, right? So within that, you want to be able to make sure that you're doing everything that you need to do, but you're also doing everything that you need to do to be able to help accelerate you and prepare to have an amazing retirement, right? So you want to be able to start saving for long-term savings and investments, and that's retirement and also savings and also college education, right? For your little ones, that you have at the house, okay? Also, you want to be able to take a look at income replacement. Now, the reason why I focus on this example is because of the fact that we all know that in life there is something called death. Okay. And unfortunately, especially with us dealing with the pandemic right now, no matter what you believe, there are people who have lost their lives, whether it was just to regular health challenges, or they died peacefully in their sleep, or they had been exposed to this COVID-19 situation. And so some people have experienced loss of a loved one. And so within that, you want to be able to understand, okay, not only do I have to plan for my retirement, but I also have to put a plan in place that if I happen to not make it there, right, or my spouse or my child doesn't make it there, what do we do? Right? If you have a loss of a loved one and you depend on their income, you want to be able to put an insurance plan in place that helps you replace that person's income. You can never replace that person's life, right? But you can help yourself replace that person's income. In this particular example, right, both spouses had an income coming in of $3,500. And that money was to be able to cover their mortgage, their cars, their insurances, right? Their credit cards, their bills, their utilities, their child care, their groceries, so on and so forth. Just living life and entertainment, right? But what if something happens to that other person? Now, the job is not going to continue to keep paying their income to you, right? They may give them an opportunity to be able to have maybe 1 or 2 or 3 times their salary as an insurance plan. But think about it, right? After those 1 or 2 or 3 years of income being replaced, what happens after that? The mortgage still has to get paid. The car notes still have to get paid. The children still have to grow. They have to eat. They have to have shelter. They have to have an education, right? So you want to be able to put a plan in place that will help you replace that person's income. So you want to be able to look at that. So not just getting a life insurance policy, but get an insurance plan that will give you enough coverage that that person's income can be replaced for 5 years, 10 years. And if you can do more, of course, do more. Now, what type of insurance should I get that would help me replace my loved one's income? Well, you want to be able to find a type of insurance that will help you cover you if you die too soon, prematurely, or you live a long life. So let's take a look at that. If you die too soon, you want to be able to get a sizable amount of insurance to be able to cover you, because you may have young children. You may have high debts and a mortgage that you have to pay, right? We just talked about that. So to have a loss of income is devastating to any family, no matter how much money that they're actually bringing in. So you want to get a sizable type of insurance that will replace your income if you were to die too soon. However, on the other side, you want to be able to get a plan that will also allow you to be able to prepare that if you don't die, right? And we say that, right, we just talk about as far as you live long. If you live long, you're going to need money, right? It's not, well, I should have money. No, you better have money when it comes down to you living long, because I've shared with you already, when you get ready to retire, number one, your income is not going to be coming in any, the same anymore, right? Your health may change, right? The cost of living, as we all know, from 1980 to 2020, inflation, right? The dollar is not as equivalent as it was back then. So you want to be able to plan for if you live long, because if you live long, guess what? Your kids are older, right? You have little to no debts, your mortgage is paid. So at this point, you don't really need a big, sizable life insurance, for a long time. You now need to be able to focus on, saving and investing so your money can be able to live longer than you do in retirement. So when you're looking at a income replacement plan, and again, I say income replacement, I'm talking about insurance. You want to be able to find a plan that will protect you if you die too soon, but also a plan that will protect you if you live long. Okay. Now, when you are actually preparing for that acceleration, right? Right? You want to be able to say, okay, how can I have my money work for me as hard, right, as I work for it? And there is a formula, a financial concept that I wholeheartedly believe in, and that is called the Rule of 72. The Rule of 72 is compound interest, where it actually shows you how your money will actually double for you. So it shows you that if you divide the interest rate into the number 72, it will tell you the approximate number of years that it will take for your money to double. Now, how often will we like our money to double? Right? Every day, every minute, every second, every year, right? Those things that you want to be able to know. And this is important for those of you who want to be able to make sure that you have enough money set aside for retirement, and those of you who want to be able to make sure you have enough money to send your child to college, and you want to be able to accelerate your finances. You want to apply the Rule of 72 to every aspect of your savings and investing future. All right. I have a couple examples for you to be able to see, what does that actually really mean? What does that mean? Tell me. Let's just say you have $10,000, right? We have an example here. $10,000, and your account that you want to put it in earns you 3% rate of return. Well, this is how you apply the Rule of 72 to that. You take that 3% and you divide it by 72. So 3 divided by 72, very easy math. Your money will double for you every 24 years. Now, if you're every 24 years, that's a long time. That's more than half my life. I can't wait another half of my life for my money to double again and again. Hopefully, I will actually be able to live that long. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So 24 years, that might be a little too long for a lot of us to be able to, for it to take for our money to be able to actually work and double for us. Okay. So let's take a look at the second example. Okay. If you are earning 6% rate of return, right? 6 divided by 72, right? Your money will now double for you every 12 years. Now that's better than 3%. But if we're talking about retirement, if you're going to retire and you now have $160,000 accumulated in your retirement account, how long would that money last you? Remember, when we're talking about retirement, it is not only just about how much money you save and invest, but how long that money will last you. That is important, okay? Because in most cases, $160,000 is not a lot of money for us to be able to live off of for the rest of our lives, right? And what we have found out is that statistically, within 3 to 5 years of the average person retiring, they have to go back to work or get a part-time job. And I'm pretty sure none of us would really want to be able to do that. Okay. So then now let's look at the third option. If you're averaging 12% rate of return, 12 divided by 72, your money will double for you every 6 years or less. Okay. Over that same length of time, you have $2.5 million. Now, I know you're asking, Shirmel, where can I get 12% at? The banks are offering me 0.04 or 0.02 or 0.9%, right? My 401k, I don't know what I'm getting in my 401k, right? 6, 8%, I don't know, right? But where can I get 12%? And when we talk about earning 12% rate of return, the global economy, right? Investing into the market. And I'll break this down even more, right? Investing directly into the market, it gives you so many benefits because it gives you a higher rate of return on your retirement. That means that it allows your money to grow for you faster. Ultimately, the whole point of the Rule of 72 is that if you properly apply this to your day-to-day finances, as you need the money, you will have more of it available to you to do the things that you want to be able to do. Okay, right? Now, with you deciding to be able to invest, the first thing that you want to be able to do is you want to be able to consult a financial professional, okay? Because everybody, I don't recommend you to just go out there and just start choosing all different types of, investments and things to be able to invest in. You want to be able to consult with a financial professional that will give you the best advice to be able to help you accomplish your goals and dreams. Okay, that's one of the first things that any financial coach, financial advisor should ask you is, what are your goals and dreams? If they're not asking you that, then you might want to be able to reconsider using someone else that will ultimately help you get you to where you want to be able to go. Okay, now once you have consulted a financial professional, now you want to be able to say, okay, what type of investor am I? Right? Am I conservative? Am I moderate? Am I aggressive? What? I don't know. I don't know. Right? And your financial advisor or financial professional don't know. But they will ask you certain questions. I know I ask questions because based on those questions, based on your goals and dreams, those allow us to be able to figure out what type of investor you are. If you are conservative, that means you don't really like risk. I'm very low key, right? I just want to kind of maintain whatever the market is. I don't really want to play in that game, right? I want to conserve what I have accumulated over the years. And so I just want to be able to just, be very conservative on my investments. Or you could be a moderate investor, okay, where you say, you know what, I want to play both sides, right? I want to be able to be in the market a little bit, but I also want to be able to conserve what I've accumulated over the years. So I want to kind of have the best of both worlds. I want to be balanced, right? Not too much on the left, not too much on the right. I want to be in the middle. And that is okay if that's the type of investor you are, right? But then you have those aggressive investors. Those people say, hey, let it ride, right? They go into live, they go into, horseshoe, right? they like to put it on the dollar on the table and just let it ride. And that's okay, right? We want to see what's going on in the market. They are aggressive because they understand that the higher the risk, the higher reward. Okay. So again, understanding what type of investor you are is so valuable to your end result when it comes down to your money. The next thing you want to be able to do is to be able to find out, what phase am I in when it comes down to investing? People don't realize that there are different phases when it comes down to you being an investor, right? When you are being an investor between the ages of 15 to 55, you're in that accumulation phase, right? You want to be able to start stacking, right? Stacking your like the squirrels do, right? During the season, right? They get there, right? And then they hide them in different places because I got to accumulate for when I need it. For when the acorns is not going to be here, right? I.e. retirement, that check is not going to keep coming in every 2 weeks. I have to be able to go to my stash, right? So you want to be able to be into that accumulation phase between the age of 18 to 55 where you're saving and investing. That phase is, okay, I am in tune with what's going on today, but I'm also in the back of my mind, I'm still focusing on what's going on for tomorrow. All right. The next phase is your protection phase. Again, this is that I'm in the middle. I'm still not old enough for retirement yet, but I'm close to it. But I still want to be able to, take advantage of what's going on in the market a little bit. So I want to be able to, definitely prepare for what retirement has for me, but I also want to protect because I've worked hard in my accumulation phase, right? I've built up my portfolio, I've invested, I've gotten profit sharing from my employer, I have my pension, right? So I want to accumulate and protect all of that, but I'm still young enough where I could be able to still invest. So, that's the age between 55 and 65, okay? And then you have your distribution phase. Now, this is, that's where you are now being paid back all of what you put in. Okay, right? So that's why it's important that you want to be able to make sure that you're properly investing so you can start reaping, right, the rewards of all of the fruit that you've actually bear, or the seeds that you've actually planted. So your accumulation and your protection, that you are planting seeds. Okay. And then when you're in retirement, now it's time for your fruit to bear. It's now for you time to reap, right? Everything that you have sowed throughout that time. So this is the over 65. And you just sit back and you start collecting your retirement and your pension and your profit share, all of that, right? You start looking at how can now, you ready? You want to be able to start living off the interest of your money, the interest of your investments. That is the life. That is retirement. I can shop, I can travel, I can do whatever I choose because I have put in the work. All right. And then when you are doing that, right, after you have sought out a financial professional, they've helped you find out what type of investor you are. You find out what type of, what phase that you are in right now. Now it's time for me to find out, okay, what type of investments are for me? Okay. And again, this is based on you as an individual and not as a group, but mutual funds are one of the hidden financial secrets, in my humble opinion. It's an opportunity for you to be able to have your money, right? Pool it together with other investors, and you all share in the benefits of investing into multiple different companies all at one time. It gives you the best of both worlds, where you're investing into stocks and bonds and all and everything in between, real estate, gold, commodities, right? Mutual funds gives you literally diversification all under one umbrella, where you'll be able to position yourself, right? If you're investing into mutual funds and you're young, it'll allow you to be able to literally catapult and leapfrog a lot of people because they may not be investing into the proper mutual fund that's good for them. If you are older, right, and you are close to that retirement, it will investing into mutual funds will allow you to be able to what we call is to make up, right, for those years that you wasn't. It allows you to be able to recoup some time and some years by you properly investing into mutual funds. And it gives you a lot of benefits, okay? Let's talk about those, right? What are some of the benefits of investing into mutual funds? Well, number one, all mutual fund accounts are professionally money managed by professional managers. Like, they have portfolio managers. So that is someone that gets paid to be able to monitor and manage your money in your mutual fund. How awesome is that, right? Instead of you having to constantly watch the screen and the ticker tape that goes across your TV every single day. Like, you don't have time for that, right? You have to work, you have family, you have a spouse, you have life to live, right? So mutual funds have professional money managers that will manage your money for you. So if there's accounts that's not operating the way that they should, they will make adjustments for your benefit. Number two, you have diversification of assets. You can have companies that you own within your mutual fund. You have 50 companies, 100 companies, 200 companies. It's all up to you and what type of investment that you want to be able to choose. But it gives you that diversity, right, or that diversification. So now all of your eggs are in one basket, right? It's better to own 50 companies versus just owning one company, right? Because when you own one company, that means when that company makes money, you make money. But also that means when that company doesn't make money, guess what? You don't make any money, right? But if you own 50 companies and let's say 40 of your 50 companies made money and only 10 of your companies lost money, overall, you made more money because the bulk of your companies that you own within your mutual fund, within your portfolio, was successful. Number three, growth potential, right? That it gives you that ability to be able to earn higher rates of return because you have diversification, okay? Your money is not all just in one particular area. You can have, growth potential because you're investing into oil, into a technology, right? Into the finance arena, right? So it gives you so many different variables and so many different benefits. Number four, affordability. With investing into mutual funds, you don't have to have, tens of hundreds of $1,000s to be able to start the mutual fund. In some cases, You can start it as small as $1,000 as a lump sum, right? Some people do monthly contributions, right? Some companies offer, like I know with me, the smallest amount that you can actually be able to put into a monthly contribution is $25 a month. And again, in most cases, that's a game changer for a lot of people, because people say, oh, I could do $25 per pay, or $50 per pay to invest into my financial future. So it's a lot more affordable, because again, you have so much flexibility and so many opportunities. And then the last benefit, or just the top 5, right? Benefits of having a mutual fund: it gives you liquidity. Right? With mutual funds, you could be able to have money in accounts, and it can grow tax deferred, right? Well, that's in retirement, right? But it actually will allow you to be able to have your money grow for you. And so if you ever need the money, you can go withdraw it, and you don't have any penalties or any withdrawal fees, right? No loans against your money, right? Because of the fact that it's just a mutual fund that you could be able to put money in, take money out, and you won't be exposed. Just unlike if you were to open up a retirement account, because there's some requirements that you have to make to be able to avoid those. So it gives you a lot of liquidity, accessibility to your particular accounts. Now, let's talk about the other aspect of investing, right? One thing that I highly encourage my clients is to be able to take advantage of dollar cost averaging. Okay. Why is that important? Because when you're investing into the market, right, the market can be up or down, up or down, up and down, and you don't know. Right. So if you're actually taking, in this example, right, you have 2 different investors, they both have $100 a month they want to be able to invest in, and they do different things, right? So you have the blue, that the person actually is investing $100 a month, and the market is consistently rising, right? Month 1, they buy $10 worth of stock. Month 2, they have 10 shares that they actually buy at $10 a share. The second month, right, they're still investing $100 a month, but the cost of the share now is about $12. So they're going to buy a little bit less. So when you look at it, right, towards after a 6-month period in a rising market, that means every month the cost of those shares went up every single month. That person putting $100 a month away only has 42 shares, right? When it's all said and done after 6 months, versus the individual in the purple, right? In a fluctuating market, right? They're buying still $100 a month, but their shares are being accumulated differently. So by the time they actually finish within their 6-month process, right? They now have 126 shares that they actually own, based on their portfolio. And why is that good? Because, right, I don't know if you guys ever heard, you buy low and sell high, right? So when the market is down, you want to be able to buy more shares because everything is on sale, right? Versus when the market is high, now you're paying full price for everything, and you don't want to be able to do that, because as we all know, a sale is always a good thing, right? When you can get 2 for 1, 3 for 1, buy one, get one, half off. Those are the reason why dollar cost averaging is actually a good thing. So again, I just want to give you a synopsis of what dollar cost averaging can be if you actually apply it properly. Okay, so when you're speaking to your financial advisor or your financial coach, ask them, what is dollar cost averaging and how can that benefit me? All right. As I actually bring everything, I really want to be able to, to summarize everything for you. Okay. As you are making your strategic financial shift, I want you to be able to really think about it. What is the proper way for me to be able to build my financial house? Okay. And we all know when you build a house, you have to start from the ground, from the foundation, right? Because if the foundation is not strong, if it's cracked, right, eventually everything will start to sink, and sink. And so you want to make sure that you have a strong foundation. And when we talk about that, we talk about starting here at the bottom. You first want to be able to protect your income by making sure that, in my professional opinion, that you have a term insurance policy put in place for yourself, an income replacement policy, right? Then you actually have created a budget for your family, right? Because you want to tell your money what to do, so you are in control instead of your money being in control, right? Then creating an emergency fund for you and your family, so when emergencies happen, right, you are able to do what you need to do without having to get into any debts. And then create a will for you and your family, right? A will, a living will, a power of attorney, estate planning. Those things are so important for you and your family because of the fact that you want to be able to make sure, in case of someone passes untimely, right, that everybody knows who is supposed to get what, right? And no one has to worry about having to, go to court or probate or anything like that. Then the next thing that you want to do is you want to accelerate paying off your debts, right? With that debt elimination plan that I shared with you, right? Help yourself, right? help you, right? Accelerate paying off your debt as quickly as you can, because the sooner you can pay off those debts, you can now plan for a better retirement, because God willing, we all will retire one day. The question that I have for you is that, will you have a good retirement or will you have a great retirement? That is the question, okay? Then you can then plan an amazing college savings and experience for your child, so they don't have to do student loans and all those things, right? and get into debt before they even start their life, right? So help them with establishing a college savings account, and then ultimately getting your goals and dreams accomplished, okay? These are the steps on top of everything else that I've actually shared with you, how you can actually be able to properly build your financial house. So there's one question that I ask. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your seriousness, your desire, right, to be able to become properly protected, to become debt-free, and also ultimately become financially independent? Okay, if that is between a 5 and a 10, then you are ready for a strategic financial shift. Okay, if you're not ready yet, that's okay too. Okay, we all have to start somewhere. And the one place that you want to be able to find out is, you want to find out where you are as an individual, okay? And then make sure that you consult with a financial professional that could be able to help you, guide you to make sure that you are making the best financial decisions for you and your family.